Welcome back to a little guide or deep dive video on Project Zomboid. Today we want to talk about animal stress. So we recently had a little discussion about causes animal stress. Since it's a little bit of a hidden mechanic, you can't really look it up. You have that little status icon when you inspect the animal, but other than that, it's a bit of a black box, right? So, what can we do to understand animal stress? Well, you might have the idea, hey, let's just ask our glorious AI overlords what causes animal stress, and then you get an answer like this. Project Zomboid, cows become stressed and upset due to nearby zombies, loud noises, sudden transport, hunger, thirst, lack of shelter, overcrowding, or multiple bullets in a pan, and nearby player activity like running, carpentry. When critical stress, large animals may even break their enclosures. Common causes of cow stress: zombie and noise, the presence of nearby zombies. Yeah, I get it, zombies. Running, shouting, gunshots, driving, revving motors close to a pen, player activity, sprinting, performing loud actions like carpentry, directing next to livestock area. Basic needs: running out of food, empty water troughs, or lacking proper roofed shelter from the rain. Pen dynamics: overcrowding or keeping multiple bulls together in a single pen, relocation, physical transport process itself when moving a cow to a new location or isolation, not being part of an active herd, or lacking social interaction. Well, I guess that answers the question on what causes stress. Thanks for watching, and I'll say, wait a second. Revving motor? You can't rev your motor in Project Zomboid. Are you telling me AI is just hallucinating stuff up? Are you telling me most of the other crap it's talking about is also not true? Are we getting a more bullshit answer than in the average Reddit post? Well, guess we can't just let AI do a job for us. Let's jump into debug mode and do some testing. So, caveat ahead of time. So I spent like an hour or two testing things in debug. I've also jumped into the Java files to understand a little bit the game functions in the background that are running. I'm not saying I have the perfect answer here, but you know, at least some consistent test results. So let's dive right in. Right. Easiest thing to look at here, sorry for that flashbang here, is the interactions with the player. Now, just to be clear, in terms of cheats that I have enabled here during debug mode, I made sure I'm not in God mode, I'm not invisible, and I don't have the instant actions on this kind of stuff, so that all my actions actually make a sound and do something. I do have the animal extra values enabled, so I can actually instantly see the stress level of an animal. So let's test something here. We walk up to this, well, we run around this cow, and, you know, stress does actually increase a tiny little bit. Now, what happens if we shout? Stress goes up, and of course also the cow runs away. But we also have to kind of differ a little bit, because this cow here is not increasing in stress. In fact, it actually came towards me. This, you might see the little value here of acceptance. Animal acceptance is basically how familiar the animal is with you as the animal handler. Acceptance goes up if you pet the animals, if you feed them, or if you just spend time around the animals. So that goes up over time, and once you reach a certain acceptance level, they will no longer get scared of you shouting near them. And I want to say, I don't think this one gives a crap if I'm running around near it. Well, yes, running is still bad. But, you know, 1 point of strength, no big deal. Alright, what else did we have? No access to proper water. Now, there's of course the factor that eventually this cow will die of thirst and hunger. But as you can see, as I'm standing here speeding up time, stress is just going down. The only thing that happens is that I'm getting bored here. Alright, we were talking about sounds though. How about other sounds that are not not necessarily directly from me. Set the alarm to in 10 minutes. Well, tell you what, my stress is going up from hearing that alarm clock, but animal doesn't give a crap. Okay, what else did we have? Performing loud actions like carpentry, right? Near the animals. Yeah, no, I don't think little Daisy here gives a crap about me doing any carpentry nearby. Also, you know, so I've been having her in here for a couple of days now, and isolation doesn't seem to be a factor. Also, you might say, you know, this is not too small of an enclosure, you know, I don't think that's a proper test for a small enclosure space. Well, what if I told you I've been having 3 cows in a animal appropriate size enclosure here for, I want to say, probably an in-game week. Like you can see it's you know, already like 9 days into the apocalypse here in this save, and yeah, they're all at 0 stress level. They have water, they have food. They've been outside during rain and storm. Nothing happened here. So enclosure size, they don't care. They really don't care. You might say, okay, but what about the health here? So at one point I used the debugger option to increase the game speed rather than game speed controls, and that means it didn't get to eat or drink because the animations can't catch up with the game speed. So that was just a bad testing from my side. But the other ones, just sitting on 0 stress. Well, I say sitting on 0 stress. If you spawn in an animal in debug, let me just do that. We'll do some live testing. We spawn in a random cow. They come in with a random stress level. In my experience so far, between 10 and 20. So this is a stressed girl here. So the stress has actually been going down, even though they are living in the tiniest animal zone that I have ever had for 3 cows. What else did we have? Vehicle sounds. Now this little lady has been sitting here for a couple days, couple in-game days, next to a car. This car has been running an engine, and just, you know, just to be sure, I de-installed the muffler, so we have a nice engine loudness of 110. And if we also, again, spawn in stress was 15 and it's down to stress 4 by now. It's alone in the enclosure. It has water and food. It doesn't really care about anything else. Now, what else did we have though? We had, well, I mean, what is probably gonna cause an issue, and you know, if we just spawn in 5 zombies. Yeah, that I don't think she'll like that. Does she? Means I can't speed up time when the, well, I guess we can just watch from the outside. Yeah. I'm actually surprised. My first test I did with zombies here, no? Let me just wait for the morning. That's kinda weird. So, after some extensive testing here, I mean, she seems to be trying to run away from the zombies. But stress doesn't seem to change. Now, there's one last thing. in terms of sounds and things that we could try here. Yeah, that's a lot of stress. Don't fire your firearms next to cows. I wonder if it's... No, it's the zombies attacking the wall, not the cow. Right, some fast debug movement here. Jury's still out on that one. Like, from my own play experience, I would have definitely said zombies cause stress for animals, but maybe it's just because they then constantly run away and don't get to feed properly. Eat and drink. That might be an issue. One last thing we need to test, but I can't really test that here. Transport. Well, I guess one thing we can test here. We're doing it live here. Let me give me a rope. Now, I don't think that... Oh, you have a little... I think you were close enough to hear the shotgun shot, huh? 32 stress. Let's attach you to a rope. And let's walk with you. I think that single shotgun shot here and 10 stress was enough to cause this Angus cow here to start... Oh no, you had 100 stress. So one thing that is important that I saw in the files is that stress can be influenced by genetic factors. There's a whole thing, if we go in the animal debug, no, in the debug, the genome, as a stress-related genome, and that then determines how quickly animals gain and lose stress. There's also some very specific factors. They can have a special factor where they are either super chill, which means they barely get any stress at all, or they get stressed more quickly than other animals. So keep in mind, so even though I'm trying to do a lot of testing with different testing setups, different animals, it does not mean that this is 100% the only truth that we can get. Like you see there, the ram, 100 stress, attacking the wall. Shotgun shots are loud. At that much. I think that must have been the shotgun freaking them out. But let's do some... Yeah, and he's also now stressed enough that he wants to attack this gate. Well, let's do some more testing. You know, the stress didn't go up. About transportation and transportation with a vehicle. But for that, I need a little bit more space, so bear with me as I find some better setup here. Alright, we are at the other end of the world, and I spawned in a fresh cow. I used debug to reduce the stress to 0. And we're gonna load up into the trailer. Fortunately, while we're driving, we're not seeing the stats. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use the speedometer to drive very slowly, 10. And yeah, we'll see a little bit if that changes anything. I'm gonna drive, so this is the road from south of... well, this is the road going towards March Ridge, towards Riverside. Side of the map. Let me just do a little bit of driving here. You don't need to watch this while I'm creeping along very, very slowly. Alright, we made it roughly up to the entrance from... Well, very roughly up to the entrance from March Ridge. And you see attitude is calm 0.16. Let me just actually get you Out of the trailer. I know how that works. Remove you. It shows 0 stress here. If we go actually into the debug to set stress, we see that there's a 0.1, probably 0.2 by the time I stop the car stress. So it's a very, very small amount of stress that got added here. Now, throw you back in. This time around, we're just gonna see how fast we can go here. And drive as fast as I can. Because as far as I understood it from looking at the code of the game, the stress while driving depends on the speed that you're going in. So the faster you're going, the more stress the animal will accumulate. So again, we're gonna drive a similar amount of time, hopefully dodging any sort of car wrecks, and then see how the animal feels about that. Certainly helps if you're playing in a world without any zombies, then you don't have to dodge those guys on top of any car wrecks on the road. Alright, I think that should be far enough. This. Let's just remove you right away. Stress 0. 0.13. So it's definitely more than what we had before when I was driving very slowly, but you gotta be driving a long time to really accumulate any serious amount of stress, I would say. Caveat being, we're doing one test with one animal. I don't know what the stress genes for this specific cow are. Maybe it has a chill genome. I mean, so the thing is, I can't say 100% understand the genome information that the game has here. I don't know. Is this a low stress cow? Is this a high stress cow? I don't know. But what we can confirm either way is that yes, transporting animals will cause stress. No, it's probably not the amount of stress to get you into trouble with your animal. Rule of thumb from my side, right? Avoid loud player-made noises near the car, as in shouting and especially gunfire. Avoid running near your animals. Everything else is fine. Carpentry, nobody cares. Having an engine running with a motor running doesn't matter. Rainfall doesn't seem to matter for cows. Apparently, some animals need a shelter in the enclosure during rainfall, so I heard pigs need that, but I haven't actually tested that and been able to confirm that. So take that with a good grain of salt. You know, if you really want to be sure, jump into debug, do a little testing, let us know in the comments what you found with the other animals. Because I think I've done my part here just to limit a little bit and also point out that yeah, AI proves to be just another waste of electricity and water and giving you more bullshit answers than the average Reddit post. So, yeah, test it yourself. Don't trust randomly generated answers. Yeah, if you have any questions or further comments, happy to answer. And yeah, maybe I'll do some more testing in between. For now, though, I'm gonna cut it here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.